So here's why this potential banning of TikTok is so painful. For many people who were never part of groups growing up, people who were left out a lot, people who didn't fit in, they didn't match the status quo. Um, this platform is a way of being able to delve into self-expression and really get to connect with people who have similar interests. A lot of times when it comes to social media apps, when we look back to the days of like MySpace and we think about how far we've come from then till now, there have always been these platforms where it's like centered around who's popular, centered around, the social graph of the time. So we have like MySpace, we have Facebook, um, other platforms also where it's like, okay, you join the platform, you add people, and who are you adding? Well, you're adding people who live near you, or you're adding people from school, people you might casually know, people who would want to add you. And in most cases, if you are one of those people that is not popular, one of the weirdos, one of those people who's kind of like always off to the side, like you're not going to be part of that group. The reason why TikTok is different is because of that whole concept of, having a platform built around interest. It's built around the interest graph. The interest graph means that regardless of where you stand in that social hierarchy, you are having an experience that's centered around your interests. Doesn't matter if 10 people in your small town are interested in, basket weaving and then everyone else isn't. Because on TikTok, you'll find people who are interested in that content. You'll find people who are not just interested in that content, but are willing to, be authentic in their interactions about the content. There's no need to be performative about things. You don't need to make sure that you're kind of staying in line with what's normalized in terms of posting certain things to make yourself seem like you're having a better life than you are, seem like you're happier than you are. If you're not having a good day, if you're feeling sad, you're feeling mad, you're feeling stressed, you can post that there and you won't be judged for it negatively in the same way that you would be on other platforms. And part of that is because the audience there is being built around the interest, is not being built around people that you know. And why is that so powerful? Well, because in most cases, you're going to act differently around people that you know versus people that you don't know. If you know someone, you have baggage behind that relationship. You know, someone who knew you as that shy little kid who couldn't talk to anyone, they see you acting different in a post, they'll wonder like, who is that? Why is that person doing that? And they're gonna try to bring you back down. They'll be like, okay, we see you trying to change, but let's take you down a peg. That's not you. You can't claim to be that because that's not what I knew you as. That's not who I knew you as back in the day, and that's not who you're gonna become. A lot of people are scared to see people change. A lot of people are scared to see people grow. And with a platform like TikTok, you can do both of those things without worrying about what people think about it from your past because they are not your target audience. They're not the people that you're making these videos for. They're not the people that you're interacting with when you are really being your authentic self. And so when we think about being able to do that on a platform, being able to share authentic thoughts, share raw feelings, make raw videos without needing to pretend to be more quote unquote normal than we actually are. Like that's something really powerful. And that's something that I don't think enough people really understand because the vast majority of people were actually part of the group. So they don't really understand what it feels like to be isolated, to be someone who is just considered like strange and weird and different. especially when we get into discussing neurodivergence and people who were already considered weird by their peers, but then were also figuring out what that meant within the context of their own life and what's actually going on inside their brain. Like, I can't speak enough about how powerful this platform has been in the past few years for people like that. And to see that potentially being taken away because of concerns that are relatively hypocritical is pretty amazing to see. I not in a good way, but like it's just amazing to see that this decision that's going to be happening in the next few days could potentially alter this whole idea of what it means to have a sense of community for many people who honestly, like, when we think about how third spaces are going away and continue to go away, like TikTok as a platform is the third space that a lot of people just don't have in real life. It might sound silly. It might sound a bit like, wow, like, okay, you can't like walk down the street and say hi to someone, or you can't go to like the mall or whatever the case. Like, yeah, that's the reality for a lot of people. It really is. And to see that kind of be dismissed because of different concerns that are held by powers that be, um, it's a bit frustrating. Yeah. It kind of makes you wonder like what's the real goal here? What's actually going on? Like if we kind of read between the lines, like what's the real objective? What's the real point of this activity that is unraveling as we speak? But for those of us who are feeling frustrated, feeling all these different emotions about what is transpiring, I think it's really important to understand that we might have a platform be taken away, but we cannot have the experience taken away. So what this experience has taught us, the experience of using this platform has taught us ways to express ourselves that we never really had the opportunity to even explore before. And so what that means is that we can take these lessons on how to portray messages, how to communicate with other people, how to build a connection, how to be consistent in posting content. All these lessons we can take with us into different aspects of our lives. So, yes, they might take the platform away. They might decide not to. We don't really know what's going to happen, but they can't take away the experience that we've had. And so that's like invaluable. We can take that into our future. We can take that with us. And I think that's really like the most important thing is holding on to what we've gained from this whole experience. It is something that is going to cause a lot of change, especially if it happens in the way that we don't want it to. But I think that regardless of that, it's really important to focus on like how we can learn from this experience, and how we can take the values that we've learned to accept through this new process of interaction. And what I mean by that is we accept meeting new people and not judging them for it. We accept, being able to have differences, but not let them completely smear our perspective of someone else, because we understand that there are nuances to how people view the world, how people see the world, how people were raised, how people have taken all of their experiences and used that to, shape how they want to portray things to the world. We've gone through all that. We've been able to learn from that. And now going into the future, then, when it comes to people that we come across in real life, at school, at work, at parties, libraries, hospitals, parks, like anywhere that we go, we can take these lessons and actually apply them to our real lives. So I think that's really important for us to hold on to in these moments before we really see what's going on. So if anyone else feels similar, please let me know.